It's the news at noon. In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari approves the reappointment of Dr. Garba Abari as Director General of National Orientation Agency. Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs appeals to Ijaw youth to cease protests over delay in inauguration of substantive board for NDDC. Awareness creation and support for the girl child emphasized as World Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated today. On the foreign scene, Germany officially recognizes colonial-era Namibia genocide. In sports, D Tigers begins final preparations for forthcoming Tokyo Olympics with Puerto Rico, Serbia, and Belgium friendlies. The details coming up shortly. Good afternoon. Welcome to the news on 101.1 FM. Uyu. I am Samuel Williams. We begin from the presidency with the report that President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment or reappointment of Dr. Garba Abari as the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, NOA. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced the reappointment in a statement issued in Abuja. The minister said the appointment, which took effect from May 25, was for a final term of 5 years. Meanwhile, the Presidential Steering Committee PSC on COVID-19 has declared another 132 travelers consisting Nigerians and foreigners wanted for violating the recently issued travel advisory. The PSC had on May 1 issued a travel advisory instructing travelers arriving from India, Brazil, and Turkey, or who had visited the countries within 14 days of their trip to Nigeria, to observe certain protocols, including compulsory quarantine and testing in designated facilities on arrival. On labor matters, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) has opposed the proposal by the Nigeria Governors Forum that price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, be raised from 162 naira per litre to 408 naira 0.5 per litre. The Congress ascribed the recommendation by the governors as provocative, arbitrary, and insensitive to the current economic realities in the country and the extreme hardship that Nigerians, especially workers, are going through. In another development, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, has declared that the delay in the inauguration of a substantive board for the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, was due to lack of budgetary allocation, poor logistics, and the COVID-19 pandemic. Akpabio stated this in Abuja after a meeting with the Ijaw Youth Council, said the youth have understood that the ministry was not behind the delay in the inauguration of the NDDC board.
They also agree with me that in the last 19 years, the NDDC had not lived up to expectation. And so they also were worried. But the problem was that they did not understand that the undue delay in the formation of the board, was not caused by the ministry. It was caused by, one, lack of budgetary provision, the COVID-19 pandemic that led to a lot of lockdown, and logistics issues, which right now, all those things are behind us, and now we are on course. So, and I thank them for the fact that they have seen with the ministry and the federal government. They appreciate so far what the president has been able to do in the region.
He said it was not out of place for youth and elders of the region to agitate for a board to reposition the NDDC based on the fact that the agency had failed to live up to expectations.
We have had a series of meetings with the select group of leaders of Ijaw Youth Council across the nation. It is not unexpected that there should be so much interest from the elders, from the youths, from everywhere in respect of NDDC. I appreciate that. It's an interventionist agency, and if everybody does what he or she ought to do, the international oil companies and the other oil operating companies pay their 3% levies. They should have enough money to touch the region positively so that our people can feel the impact, and the youth can also be assured of what their future will be like in terms of employment opportunities.
The minister assured that the federal government was in the process of reviewing the issues that necessitated the protest to ensure that urgent steps were taken to sustain the peace in the region. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Odum Emmanuel has announced the readiness of his government to partner with the Akwa Ibom State Association of Nigeria, AKISAN, USA, in the development of the state. Governor Emmanuel disclosed this when some officials of AKISAN visited him at State Government House, assured that his administration will partner with the association to achieve the programs and set goals for the state.
We are coming from an environment where government looks up to people, not people looking up to government. And I'm sure that is really influencing a whole lot of things that you've mentioned. You've talked about a whole lot of skill set development, culinary, ICT, joinery, in which you would like us to partner with, and other developmental initiative we are trying to bring to bear. We will collaborate in so many areas that you mentioned. Be rest assured of our support, always.
Earlier in his address, the president of AKISAN in the USA, Itoro Akpanikot, who led the team on the visit to the governor, said they were in the state to explore ways to impact on the lives of the people and encourage the exportation of the goods and services from the state.
The Akwa Ibom State Association of Nigeria, USA. We're a non-profit volunteer organization in the United States, about 34 years old. We do a lot of projects here in the state, from medical missions to scholarships. We've also added vocational. There are two key points that I've heard that I want to take back to our people back in the United States. It's the issue of partnerships and collaboration.
A government house correspondent, Jean Owa, reports that the Akwa Ibom indigents in diaspora also presented some souvenirs to the governor. On health, as World Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated today, governments, institutions, households, and individuals have been admonished to put policies in place that encourage the viewing of menstrual hygiene for girls as a fundamental human right that cannot be neglected, while disabusing the myth surrounding menstruation as being a woman's problem, amongst others. Speaking with Planet News, health expert Dr. Eka Okpe enumerated the requirements for proper hygiene during menstrual cycle, while also evaluating the negatives that abound when sanitary precautions during a woman's period are not strictly adhered to.
It requires basic facilities such as appropriate clothes or soakage material, sanitary napkins, water, soap, and toilet facilities with privacy. Menstrual hygiene management is the process where women and girls use a clean material or menstrual material to absorb or collect blood that can be changed in privacy as often as necessary for the duration of the menstrual period. Menstruation can stop girls from living normal lives. Girls still feel ashamed or embarrassed when on their periods, use improper substitutes and sanitary products, and even miss out on vital education because of them. In some cases, some of these barriers include lack of access to menstrual hygiene products, lack of access to sanitary facilities such as good toilets, adequate water, and hand washing facilities, lack of knowledge of menstrual cycle and care, as well as social stigmas and taboos surrounding menstruation.
According to Dr. Okpe, it is pertinent that menstrual hygiene is viewed as a responsibility for all, especially for vulnerable girls in rural areas who do not have the required awareness and facilities to cater for themselves.
Changing sanitary napkins or tampons often is the cardinal rule to establish menstrual hygiene, and this should be done within every 4 to 6 hours. Menstrual hygiene is the key to safe and peaceful menstruation. No woman or girl should be limited by something as natural as normal as menstruating. Everything should be provided. That is why this day is celebrated, to create awareness on what menstruation is all about, to disabuse the minds of people about the myths, false assumptions surrounding menstruation, a natural phenomenon, and it should be appreciated by all. It's not a woman's issue only. It is a human rights issue and should be given attention by all. What is needed to maintain menstrual hygiene should be provided, even in the rural setting. The poor girls there should be helped to maintain good menstrual hygiene.
The World Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated every 28th May, or significantly to put a stop to the taboos, myth, social culture, and religious restrictions which are a big barrier in the path of menstrual hygiene management, and to raise awareness on the importance of proper hygiene management by girls and women of reproductive age around the world. Away from that, following the celebration of children across Nigeria, an educationist in the states, Obong Nsimaikpo, has charged children to be patriotic and show responsibility in their developmental journey. He said this in his goodwill message to the pupils and students of early days group of schools yesterday in Uyo during the presentation of displays and artworks put up by the creative arts team of the school to mark this year's Children's Day. Obong Nsimaikpo, while interacting with journalists during the event, observed that as future leaders, children should recognize the onerous tasks and responsibilities expected of them in nation building. The head of school, Idongeset Atang, noted that the school has continued to ensure the realization of the noble ideals by laying strong emphasis on character and learning. Obong Ekpo is Otsue Kongetinan and Adaidaga Kefugebrutu commended the staff and students of early days for their continued high academic and moral qualities and outstanding creative skills. I thank the state government for initiating children-focused policies, especially the female gender sensitivity, and remarked that the present Safe School initiative by the government will go a long way to providing safe and secure environment for school children in Akwa Ibom State. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State students from varying private schools of repute in the state have urged federal and state governments to equip public schools with commensurate facilities so that underprivileged children can stand relative chance to succeed academically and also enjoy privileges they enjoy in their respective private schools. Now, speaking at Planet FM transmission station, as part of activities marking the Children's Day celebration, the pupils drawn from different private schools in Akwa Ibom State lamented the poor state of public schools in Nigeria and preferred solutions.
I would like the government to go to the villages, build schools to help the orphans, and for the primary schools, put more facility in it and even build a bigger one.
I would like that they should reduce the payment of school fees. Like now, because of school fees, children are sent out of school.
I think they should make schools where they can teach things that they need to know.
They also had interesting recommendations to make as regards free and compulsory education, just as they discourage child labor and neglect.
I really like free education because our parents don't have to pay money for it.
I won't really agree with that, but I would say that they should keep it at affordable prices, because if we say that there shouldn't be any school fees, then how are the people that are supposed to be working gain the money that they need for their family?
I agree with both of you, but I choose free education because poor people have the right to go to school. Children are supposed to be leaders for tomorrow, but Buhari is not doing anything. It's so awful. I can't believe it.
You're listening to the news on 101.1 FM. Let's take a breather and bring you more stories from the foreign, sports, and entertainment scenes. You just stay with us. Healthy living begins with the choices one makes. Choosing to live healthy is the first step to healthy living. Join us Sundays 1:30 to 2 p.m. for Healthway, awareness for healthy choices. Thank you for staying with us. On the phone scene, Germany has officially acknowledged that it committed genocide during its colonial era occupation of Namibia and has agreed to pay financial support. The German colonists killed tens of thousands of Herero and Nama people there in early 20th century massacres. The Foreign Minister Heiko Maas acknowledged the killings as genocide. Maas added that Germany would, in a gesture to recognize the immense suffering inflicted on the victims, support the country's development through a program worth more than 1.1 billion euros. Still on the foreign scene, Russia has denied entry to 2 European airlines because they plan to avoid flying over Belarus to get to Moscow. Air France and Austrian Airlines have both had to cancel services after their flight plans were rejected by Russia. The EU leaders asked European carriers to avoid Belarusian airspace this week after a Ryanair airplane was forced to divert and land in Minsk on Sunday. In sports, Nigeria's preparation for a successful outing in the women's basketball event at the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games has entered the final stretch with 3 grade 8th friendlies lined up for the Tigers. According to Nigeria Basketball Federation coach Otis Hughley, to decide who resumed the second phase of camping in Las Vegas on May 8, left for Belgium early this week for preparatory games against Belgium, Puerto Rico, and Serbia at the Lange Munte Arena situate at Korit. The team, which has 13 players currently in camp, will face world number 23 Puerto Rico today before taking on Serbia, who rank 8 in the latest FIBA ranking. The team will conclude its series of friendlies with another tough game against world number 6 Belgium on Sunday. The D Tigers drawn in Group B will battle host Japan, France and world champions USA at the games billed to start on July 23, 2021. Now more from sports. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is reportedly set to sign a new contract with the club and will be handed significant funds to spend in the summer transfer window. Despite ending the season without a trophy and suffering a disappointing defeat to Villarreal in Wednesday Europa League final, the Glazers are still convinced that the Norwegian is the right man to take the Red Devils forward. And from the entertainment scene, Nigerian singer and songwriter Raul John Njanginjang, better known as Kills, has linked up with DMW boss Davido to create a new song together titled This Your Body. In the past, they have collaborated on songs like Always and Currency. The new song is a new collaboration after 3 years they dropped Currency, while their first collabo, Always, was released in 2015. And that's been the news on 101.1 FM. But before we go, a recap of the major stories. Approaching the stories, President Buhari has approved the reappointment of Dr. Garba as the Director General of the National Orientation Agency. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, has declared the delay in the inauguration of a substantive board for the Niger Delta Development Commission was due to lack of budgetary allocation, poor logistics, and the COVID-19 pandemic. As World Menstrual Hygiene Day is celebrated today, governments, institutions, households, and individuals have been admonished to put policies in place that encourage the viewing of menstrual hygiene for girls as a fundamental human right. At the foreign scene, we told you that Germany has officially acknowledged that it committed genocide during its colonial era occupation of Namibia and has agreed to pay financial support. At the sports, we reported that Nigeria's preparation for a successful outing in the women's basketball event at the forthcoming Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games has entered the final stretch with 3 Grade A friendlies lined up for the Tigers. Now for comments and coverage of your newsworthy event, call our newsroom on 0812 7702 940. Visit our website on planet101fm.ng and follow us on Twitter at planet_101fm. Also like our Facebook page at Planet 101FM. The news is edited by Anthony Essen. As we end the news, be reminded that it is during our darkest moments that we must focus on the light Together in unity, we can rise above our challenges as a nation. I am Samuel Williams. Good afternoon, and please stay safe.